Alright, so, welcome to the second part of Disney vs. Vampires. This is part 2, Forever Night. So, when we last left off, Randy, who is a vampire sleeper agent, impaled Anne with his sword to use her blood, which was needed to resurrect Dracula because she was touched by she's basically the next god, and that was the only way they could bring back Dracula. And to make matters worse, they're all the heroes that had united are wanted by various governments who've all been infiltrated by the group called the Crimson Court, which is really the Order of the Dragon, led by Nina Harker. Everybody got that? So here we are. Dracula has been resurrected, and while he's not at full power, he's just like, I gotta go. So he deuces out of there with Nina, and what happens is that Anne is left dying on the floor while Randy leaves with the Crimson Court, and the remaining heroes are just like, what the fuck do we do? So they're trying to save Anne's life desperately, especially Sasha and Marcy, who are just like, we can't watch her die again. We literally just cannot watch our friend die again to another monster. So they managed to with a little help from Ford, they managed to get her into a life support system that he put together from the crashed alien site. Also, where you're wondering where they're all hiding, it's the Mystery Shack. Because, of course, if you're going to fight the apocalypse, the Mystery Shack is so out of place, wouldn't even notice. But now, Kim, who's the leader of this whole operation, is just like, I let the ninja in here, and he was a vampire the whole fucking time. And we can't even trust each other now. For all we know, there may be other people among us who are vampires. Like, we don't know. Like, we don't know if we don't know if the ninja was the last one. We have no idea who we can trust at this point. For all we know, all of you are vampires. And Ron's like, even me, and he's like, and she's like, even you, or Wade, or anybody. So Goliath, who was shot, is like, we have to trust each other, or Dracula and the court win. Dracula and his order win. Our only option now, and they're like, well, what do we do? Like, we gotta. What do we even do? Like, how can we even get the news out that this is happening? And like, Dracula is obviously just the beginning. Like, resurrecting him, like, they obviously wanted him to be part of something. Like, they wanted something more to happen. And Goliath is right. But first, we have to get the news out that this Crimson Court is real, so we can help find out not everyone is a vampire. So they get the message out through Heidi. Heidi Wienerman uses her podcast and more or less it's more like in the conspiracy video, but Heidi is so well believed, and I can't believe this is in the show, is that she's so well believed. People are like, holy shit, like fucking vampires are running the government. Holy crap! Like, who out there is a vampire? Like, and who isn't? So Heidi like goes underground and is putting out messages like, yeah, fight the undead menace and all that. It's also, she uses the evidence that they've gathered, and it starts exposing certain people they know who's a vampire. And she even says, yes, tragically, even our great ninja of Norrisville has turned into the undead. So it's not looking good right now. Meanwhile, they're trying to figure out, like, because Kim is convinced, like, it wasn't just resurrecting. They had to have had a reason to do more than resurrect Dracula. There had to be more. And yeah, so that's when they actually discover that the vampires actually had. Now that they've been waiting for this, and Dracula reveals to the court that there was a reason I wanted you to wait. There was another reason why I wanted you to wait so long until you could resurrect me, and that was the reason because he was like, we had no way to get to Muni. I had no way to get to the realm of magic, and now that I found out that magic on Muni is gone, magic has caused there's an avergence in magic, and therefore it's corrupt. It's more corrupted. It's more twisted, and it wasn't. We had to wait until God chose its caretaker for the next millennia. Hopefully, we killed that bitch, and God will eventually die off. And he's like, the bastard. So Dracula reveals to Mina that like there was another reason I waited for this because he had learned about Muni ages ago. When he was still he was still Vlad Tepes. He actually found human explorers and actually found a way to Muni until he got chased out by the Butterfly royal family and their army. And he wanted to experiment with magic, but Earth magic was so alien to him that he was like, huh. And then he became a vampire. He became a vampire, and he learned further into magic. And there was something he always wanted. Now that he had a people that he could rule over, he could there was a spell, but it was so powerful it could have killed him. Like it could have permanently killed him. And it wouldn't have worked. There needed to be a complete avergence in magic for it to properly succeed. And that avergence he was waiting for was the end of human magic. So now, with a little help from some scissors, he manages to go into the realm of magic, which is rotting and decaying. And he just bites his wrist and drops his blood into it. And he's like, now magic will obey me. That's what he was waiting for. Magic to die, a form of magic to die, so he could resurrect it in its own twisted, parasitic way. So now Dracula can do magic. And now he gets to do his spell. And what is that spell? Well, the heroes discover while battling, the court and trying to fight off, other forces that are corrupting people. They discover that Dracula wanted to use this spell called the Forever Night. And the Forever Night is exactly what it sounds. It's a spell that will kill the sun or block out the sun eternally, and it'll be forever darkness. And they're like, holy shit, that would allow every vampire on the planet to come out. And they're like, and Dracula would have his own army. Like Dracula would finally have an army, and we would be and he's like, and then Stan goes, and what would we be exactly? And Dipper goes, cattle. So now it's really at a crisis point that the remaining heroes have to fight through, find Dracula. And they're like, well, where could he go? He'd have to Ford points out that the only way you could, and even Luz points this out too, Luz especially, who brought in Ida, and Ida and Ford bring up the point of, you would need to use a spell that powerful, you would need to find a way to, have to be a great source of totemic power. And they're like, well, where can they find that on Earth? And that's when Goliath goes, Stonehenge. Oh Christ. He's like, jalapeno. He's going to Stonehenge. That place is a mecca of druidic magic. That place would literally give him the power to do that. So now the team is all out there. They're going out there to, they face Dracula at Stonehenge, who has been feeding, and now he knows magic, and is actually battling his way through them. As he's warring it out with all of them, he is just going to town on them. He even bites Hunter and converts him into a vampire. He turns Dipper into a vampire. He turns he's just left and right turning people in. He's turned several people into vampires. And another thing that is what is posed is that people don't some people don't automatically become evil when they're vampires. It's Dracula's evil that is imprinted into people, his malice, his hatred, his cruelty, a little bit of some Sauron there. It's not that, oh, I'm a vampire and suddenly I get turned and I'm evil. It's Dracula's evil and his bloodline that it's like a virus that even his evil can corrupt. He is the ultimate corrupter. He is a walking plague. So Dracula beats all of them, and then uses the spell to unleash the Forever Night. And the sun goes out, and it's just darkness. And that's when he sends a message through using magic. He's like, my children of the night, it is time to become the army that you have been destined to be. Rise up and feed. And every fucking vampire on the planet that has been in hiding all this time comes out, and they just go to fucking town. And that's where, and yeah, the heroes lost. So yeah, the heroes lose, but this is the Empire Strikes Back, but we got one more piece to go through. So anyway, hope you guys tell me in the comments below how you guys are enjoying this. Let me know in the comments below. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this, and stay tuned for the third part. I'm Mr. Multiverse. See you next time in the Multiverse.